Coming up, the last week of the regular season is right around the corner, and plenty is still up for grabs in the playoff race. We'll go over it all here on Locked On Now.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
Hey everyone, you are listening to Locked On Now, biggest stories throughout the NFL. I am your host, Kim Becker, and thanks so much for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. Our Locked On NFL hosts are here to tell you everything that you need to know from around the league. So let's get right into it with this weekend's biggest game coming up on Sunday night in Las Vegas.
The biggest game.
The Los Angeles Chargers have only one way to make the playoffs this weekend, by beating or tying the Raiders on Sunday night. In a game that will end the regular season and could easily become win or go home for both teams, Locked On Chargers has the preview.
The Chargers find themselves in a winner-take-all scenario against the Raiders, and it's going to happen on Sunday Night Football in Vegas. This is David Drugemeyer of the Locked On Chargers podcast, and your keys for success, starting on defense, is to stop the run. Stop the run on early downs, on first and second down, so you get the Raiders in those third and long situations, make it a lot more difficult to keep that offense on the field. And then it allows you to unlock that pass rush as well. You can really get aggressive, and that's the next key, is to get pressure on Derek Carr. When you get pressure on Derek Carr, he is completing only 54.6% of his passes. When you don't, over 75%. So it's very important that you get pressure on Derek Carr. On offense, it is important to let Herbie cook. You got to let the young superstar quarterback find those soft spots in the zone. And a great way to do that is to target the linebackers. The linebackers of the Raiders, all of them are giving up a reception percentage over 80% this season. So that is a big opportunity for Herbert. When Herbert has a QB rating over 100, the Chargers are 7-1. Under 100, 1-7. So it's very important that Herbert plays well for the Chargers to have success in this game. For more on this game and for more on the Chargers, please check out Locked On Chargers, your team every day.
The Arizona Cardinals want to make sure that they are ready for the playoffs after a rocky run to the finish, but Arizona still has an outside shot at the AFC West crown as well. Locked On Cardinals tells you what Arizona needs to do to beat the Seahawks and at least set up a potential division title.
The NFC West is still up for the grabs for the Arizona Cardinals. They're taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who just hung a 51-burger on the Detroit Lions last week. So they can't take it too easy on Russell Wilson and crew. But if the Cardinals can win and the Rams can lose to the 49ers, the Cards would get the NFC West in a home playoff game. Alex, what's the key to victory against Russell Wilson and that high-flying Seahawks offense?
Get to the quarterback and use Chase Edmonds effectively. Like, this is going to be a tweaking game for the Cardinals. They're already in the playoffs. Obviously, the seeding is still up for grabs, with things that are out of their control, except for just winning the game. But the pass rush has been non-existent at times over the last month. We saw it in Dallas come back. Chase Edmonds is now healthy, and we need to see the Cardinals use him as much as humanly possible in the run game and pass game to get this team moving the ball down the field. It's up in the air with James Conner, but right now you know that Chase Edmonds will be on the field. I'd like to see 25 touches from him on Sunday.
Huge for the Arizona Cardinals to play that time of possession game. They can certainly play a little defense. Then slow down Russ. Don't let him cook this week if you want that home playoff game and that division title. We're talking more about it on Friday's edition of Locked On Cardinals. It's Bo, it's Alex.
The Tennessee Titans go into Week 18 with the AFC's top seed and a first-round bye, and they only need to beat the Texans to make sure they can take a week off before the Super Bowl push. Houston did beat Tennessee earlier in the year, though, and Locked On Titans tells us how to make sure that that does not happen again.
Tyler Rowland here, host of the Locked On Titans podcast, with my key to victory for the Tennessee Titans as they head into a Week 18 matchup against the Houston Texans. The Titans obviously want revenge after falling to the Texans 22-13 at home in Week 11, and how they can get that revenge is by not turning over the ball on offense. The Titans had 5 turnovers, including 4 Ryan Tannehill interceptions in the previous matchup against the Houston Texans. It doesn't take a genius to say that if the Titans avoid those 5 turnovers, they should be able to beat an inferior Houston Texans team. And that's going to be paramount considering that the Texans have been one of the better teams at forcing turnovers over the last 7 weeks. They've had 11 in that time span. And in games where the Titans don't lose the turnover battle, they are 9-1 on the year. So critical for the Titans to avoid turning over the ball against a lesser Houston Texans team. If they do that, then they will find themselves at the top of the AFC with the number 1 seed and a bye heading into the playoffs. For more analysis, check out the Locked On Titans podcast on whatever platform you do stream. And thank you for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day.
Coming up, more teams hope to clinch playoff spots or play spoiler in Week 18. You're listening to Locked On Now. All right, everybody, BetOnline would like to wish you all a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the number 1 spot for all best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up on today and receive your 50% welcome bonus. Just use your promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for you guys here in 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all of your favorite sports. So again, that promo code is locked on to get started and get that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back to Locked On Now NFL. I'm Kim Becker. Let's continue to look into the biggest keys to victory for teams in the final week of the regular season.
Let's go around the league.
The Detroit Lions have 1 game left in the season and still have a shot at the number 1 pick in the NFL draft if they lose to the Packers in Week 18. But if you've watched this team, you know Dan Campbell and the Lions won't be lying down on Sunday. Locked On Lions previews the season finale for Detroit.
Hey everyone, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast with your keys to victory for Week 18 as the Lions host the Green Bay Packers. Yes, it's a meaningless football game, but Detroit wants this thing. They would love to go into next season with some momentum and certainly getting their guys healthy like Jared Goff, DeAndre Swift, even in this last game against a rival like the Packers. To look good and to win would mean something for Dan Campbell and company. What's the key? It's simple. Don't turn the ball over. Last week in Seattle, Tim Boyle threw 3 interceptions. It's one of the many reasons why the team lost. You give Aaron Rodgers a short field in a game like this, and of course when Jordan Love and the backups come in, same thing. Take care of the football, and that would help the Lions' cause, certainly, as the Packers likely empty the bench later in the game. That's your key to victory for the Lions for Week 18. Join us Sunday for the post-game pod right here on Locked On Lions.
The Atlanta Falcons will not make the playoffs this season, but they can spoil the divisional rival Saints' playoff hopes as well with a win to end the season on Sunday. Locked On Falcons fills you in on how Atlanta ends the season on a high note.
A fast start holds the key to victory for the Falcons in Week 18. I'm Aaron Freeman with Locked On Falcons. The New Orleans Saints are the only team that has not scored a touchdown on our opening drive so far this season, but the Falcons aren't faring much better with just 1 opening drive touchdown so far in 2021. But this week, scoring often and early is going to be important for the Falcons to keep the Saints' ground attack led by Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, and Mark Ingram in check, as they were able to do in Week 9 when they beat the Saints by building up a 17-3 lead entering the fourth quarter. But that game had a fairly low-key start, with the Falcons not scoring their first touchdown of the game until the closing seconds of the second quarter. They need to start a bit faster to ensure that the Falcons can continue to stick to their ground attack, which may be critical this weekend since they may be without rookie phenom tight end Kyle Pitts due to a hamstring injury. Even against a limited passer like Taysom Hill, the Falcons may not be well suited this week to be in a game where they have to rely on passing to win. For more coverage of this Week 18 matchup, follow Locked On Falcons, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That's a wrap for us. Thanks so much for making Locked On Now your first listen every day. For more on the NFL and your favorite team, make your second listen Locked On NFL and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm Kim Becker. This has been Locked On Now, Locked On your team every day.